Most welcome everyone. Well, I am not Dr. Tarang, I am Dr. Deepica Krishna, Dr. Tarang's better half, and we work together for cancer treatment and for cancer awareness. So today we all are here to know more about cancer, to know more about immunity. So we have a big team of doctors working together. Dr. Pavneet, she's one of the very good doctor in our company. So I'll just let the mic give to her and to speak something. She'll just share some of viewpoints or some ideas about her to this company.
A very good evening to all of you. I'm Dr. I would like to give you a brief about our clinic and the treatment that we're providing over here. So the treatment that we provide over here is based on immunotherapy, which is not along the lines of the conventional treatment that is going on. It is something which is based on the CAMP system, complementary and alternative medicine. So this treatment is going on for the past 41 years. It was founded by Dr. Krishna, but now we are going forward under the young visionary of Dr. Tarang Krishna, who is really working very hard to take this center and the treatment to newer heights. Our ultimate aim is to make this planet free of this dreaded disease, cancer. We are aiming to eliminate the disease completely. But as of now, since cancer is so much prevalent, every household has 1 or 2 cancer patients. Almost 13% of the population right now is suffering from cancer, and we have really high morbidity rates of cancer as well. So right now our current target is to be able to reach the masses all across the globe. We have patients coming to us from really far off places, and through telemedicine we are providing them treatment. We are sending medicines to them through courier, and they have been showing really good signs of improvement. Even the patients who are present over here, till date we have been able to see thousands of patients who have been completely cured of this disease.
Good evening everyone. I hope you are enjoying the wine and the cheese. Cheers to life, because life is something which is important. Life is something we don't celebrate life. We don't celebrate life. We celebrate occasions, we celebrate festivals, but we do not celebrate a festival called life. Do we know that we have a festival every day, every moment? And how many of you are actually living up to that moment? How many of you are actually living up to that moment of life? And this is something where we work upon. This is something how everyone has been suffering. Someone's known, someone's relative, someone's family member is actually suffering from cancer. Isn't it a food for thought? Cancer has been happening like an epidemic. It has actually become an epidemic where people have been, someone's known, I don't know. You could say, you could relate to that, someone's friend. Oh my, yes, one of my friend's relative, one of my younger brother, or, they have been suffering. So before I start, there is a small video which I'd like to show it to you. Cancer Healer Center. And why we say a new beginning? Because people are still feeling or have that look and feel that cancer means chemotherapy, cancer treatment means radiation. But it is not the beginning. People are going for chemotherapy out of fear. Chemotherapy, I won't discredit it, but I don't know whether you'd be able to relate it to it or not, but probably people do it for fear. It is a treatment of fear, it is not a treatment for cancer. A new beginning would mean you begin life, you begin working on the immune system, where you start beginning about everything which gets rid of cancer. I have a dream. I have a dream that cancer should just be a zodiac sign and it should not be a disease. And trust me, Cancer Healer Center is working towards it. We want to work, we are working to a level where we actually want to just consider cancer as just a zodiac sign and no more of a disease. And it is possible. Trust me, it is possible. The only thing which is lacking is awareness. No cancer, no cancer. K-N-O-W, no cancer, no cancer. Now, how cancer develops, how cancer starts, why there's been so many cases of cancer. Cancer is not related to just smoking, drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, tobacco, or alcohol abuse or anything. Anything which has been constantly irritating in your life, anything which has been constantly irritating in your life leads to cancer. Constant irritation causes cancer. Irritation of physical level, irritation of mental level, irritation of emotional level, irritation of spiritual level. How? What causes stress? Imagine a child of just 2 years playing here. Just imagine. And he doesn't know who all are sitting. He doesn't know what is happening. He doesn't know how the things are happening. Is he experiencing stress? No. Stress is man-made. We create stress. We call this word stress. Imagine anybody of you stuck up in a traffic, yet to go for a meeting, and you are just cursing that time, you are just cursing that, that place, that why are you stuck up in a traffic? Probably one of your driver got late. And you are actually feeling that, I'm getting stressed out because I have to reach to that meeting on time. Guys, if you are stressing out to reach that meeting on time, you are actually stressing out with your hormones, your cells, of making it to a level where you are giving invitation to a disease in your body. Constant irritation, stress hormones, cortisol. Cortisol, increased levels, your cells get disbalanced. It doesn't happen overnight. Cancer doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. If you are living, if you are breathing, if you are living and if you are breathing, you can get cancer. It is up to you how you control your mind. It is you how you take stress. It is you how you're living your life. It is not important whether you are, obviously, there are three things which, how you have to battle-proof your health. You need to bulletproof your health. Now, how do you bulletproof your health? Exercise again. Staying away from stress. Staying away from the things that brings you negativity. Staying away from emotions that brings you down. Everything leads to stress. Imagine if your cheek is coming in between your teeth while speaking, it may lead to cheek cancer. If a lady is breastfeeding her child and the elbow of the child hits the breast of the mother, the nursing mother, it may lead to lump there, which may lead to breast cancer. If you are having food where I love Mongolian food, and I went to US, I went to San Diego. This is a small example. I learned from examples, I learned from nature. And there was this Mongolian big, tawa, where that food was being cooked. And when the chef was cooking, he was so happy. He was so happy and he was just mixing everything, all the veggies, all the noodles, everything, everything and all the sauces, and he was serving it to me. And I could feel that great taste in the food. Why? Because he was so happy in cooking. I just happened to ask him, why are you so happy in, cooking this meal for me? He says, I just love cooking and I just give it to you with love. Imagine the kind of emotions that food has. Imagine the kind of emotions that food has, and it tasted so well. You will never know how you're cooking your food. It is a study which says, it's a study by Lisa Adam, yes. So she was a US scientist who says that nursing mothers pass on their emotions to the children while feeding. So if the emotions can be passed on through feeding, the emotions can even be passed on while cooking that food, cooking that meal. If you are having that, if you're cooking your house, or probably anybody who's cooking is making that food with all the negative emotions, that negative emotions goes inside your body. Your cells get disbalanced, your cells get imbalanced, and constant irritation again at regular levels leads to cancer. Drinking water bottles from plastic. Nowadays, people have been going for such easy time and easy things, where again, drinking water bottles from plastic bottles, you will never know how the chain has been carried. A plant which is situated in the Himalayas, calling a mountain water, spring water, but the moment it reaches you on your table, just imagine the kind of things, the kind of temperature it has been through. If I leave a plastic bottle in the sun and go and check the next day how that bottle would have been. So imagine you have been having water from that bottle where you don't know how the things is. Again, it doesn't happen overnight. Please understand. Don't judge me. I'm just reporting. Don't just judge me. But I'm just reporting that this is where constant irritation causes cancer. Anything which has been constantly irritating. So you become I should be speaking English first. Small drops make, small drops make an ocean. So you keep adding drops to that bowl, it fills up that bowl. You may never know how many drops filled up that bowl. Someone's bowl has been filled with just 20 drops. Someone's bowl has been filled with, say, 300 drops. It depends upon how and when you get cancer. There was a conference which was happening last week in Singapore, and that study says that nowadays husbands who are smoking are not actually getting cancer, rather than the ladies who are not smoking and living in this pollution is getting cancer. So the incidence of getting a lung cancer by a woman nowadays is much more than husbands who have been smoking cigarettes throughout. Pollution, you can never know when and how what is affecting us. Imagine landing up in Delhi and you are there in an aircraft, and the moment you touch Delhi, your flight is about to land, and you see that entire gases and air which has been surrounded you. As of now, if you are breathing, I'm speaking and you are listening and we are breathing air, you may never know how many pollutants are going inside, getting gas exchanges inside our lungs and coming out. I'm not scaring you. I'm just making you aware. I'm just making you aware.
What are we doing to change?
I'll do that. I'll tell you that as well. We are living in a gas chamber. So I'm not just scaring you. Just this is the fact. This is the fact. These are the things which are inevitable. The fruits that you are eating, the vegetables that you are having, everything is being so polluted that they have been all in a hybrid form. There have been pesticides which have been there even on all the vegetables and fruits which have been there in the market. I mean, if you talk of a cauliflower won't survive if the pesticide malathion is not being sprayed or sprinkled on it, because there would be so many, so many of insects or so many of bugs that would stick to it. Papaya, if people start eating raw papaya, it would have been different. But to get easy money, all the vegetable vendors and fruit vendors inject these fruits and vegetables with so many chemicals which actually damages your immune system. Even in US, I happened to go there in one of the dairies. Me and Deepika went, and I was surprised, even in US where FD is so strong, that the cows out there, it was a village in Texas I believe, and the cows out there were injected with oxytocin to give more milk. So if the cows, if they have been injected to to give more milk, how would you expect that that milk won't have that chemical? Oxytocin causes cancer again. Okay, so oxytocin causes cancer again, but that's a milking hormone which is there, and it creates that cancer in the body. It won't happen overnight, but again, small drops fill up the ocean. When your ocean gets brim, it is like that. Now, forget about that scaring part. There is life. There is life. You can, again, lotus always comes out from all the muddy and the bad waters. So there is a life there where you can survive with full of life, full of immunity, and full of immune system. What is more important is to have a strong immunity. Shield yourself and your body with so strong immunity that even if you're drinking wines, even if you're doing whatever habits, I'm not saying habits are good. Bad habits are not good at all. At all. Anything which is in excess, anything which is in excess is always harmful. The only thing is you need to have that strong immunity where these things are not able to affect you. You maintain that immune system where you have been shielded, each normal cells get shielded up, and the normal cells are not affected by these things. Hurry, curry, worry leads to cancer. If you're eating food in hurry, if you are doing things in a hurried manner, worry, if you're taking too much of worries, too much of stress, too much of things which are affecting you. Curry, if you're not eating the right food, too much of red spices, red meat, which is not good for you, probably excess of it, or anything which is not good for your body. Chinese food from the joints, plastic utensils, things which are not being healthy cooked, which are not appropriate, which are something which is not good, again, cumulatively leads to cancer. Maintain a healthy lifestyle. Battle-proof your health. Bulletproof your health where you eat well, sleep on time, divide your hours. 24 hours, give time to your sleep. No matter you get up on time, but make sure that you maintain a healthy routine. Don't get stressed out even if you are in a traffic jam. That meeting gets delayed, it's okay, but your life is in your hands. System to such a level where the normal cells would start fighting against the cancer cells. So even if anybody is wishing to go for chemotherapy or radiotherapy in parallel with our treatment, can go ahead with it. So this will make sure that none of the side effects of chemo would come up. Imagine if you are standing here and I make you wear a bulletproof jacket and I fire on it, nothing would happen. Exactly on the same way, same principles the medicines work. It bulletproof each of your cells where the normal cells get shielded and it doesn't get affected by the cancer cells. It makes your immune system so much stronger where your body's own immunity, your body's own defense mechanism gets stronger and does not get affected by cancer. We were the only doctors in the world to be appreciated by World Health Organization for treating the maximum number of cases. We submitted 3,000 success stories together, and that's how we got that appreciation letter from WHO. And we were speaking to DCP sir, and I know this is a pity situation that the government does not recognize it. So I know all changes are very hard in the beginning, messy in the middle, but gorgeous in the end. I know we will work so hard that it will be very gorgeous in the end. people would be knowing about it, people would be appreciating it, people would be speaking about it. So genius are always questioned. I know we are being questioned, and you know how it is, chemotherapy works, radiotherapy works. But no matter what, we speak with evidences, we speak with solidarity, we speak with evidence-based treatment. So have a look at this testimonial video, and then probably we leave it to the floor of any questions that come up to us.
When you say it's herb-based, anybody who has not even developed such kind of a disease can also consume it? It's like a pure pre-curative kind of a preventive, yeah.
So, yes, it can be preventive as well, no, but we can't say it because, see, again, what happens is there is no definitive. We don't do anything which is just given and without proven, right? So what happens is we say preventive and the person is still smoking and the person is not eating well, the person is not living his life well, and we say, "Arey, with preventive, kharo chalo, 4 cigarettes or bhi leta hu. I can let me smoke 4 cigarettes more, 4 cigarettes extra." So that is something which we can't say that this is preventive. When in India, the concept of a preventive is that this is definitive. Arey, when I'm doing it, I know I'll be saved. So I've stopped giving preventive, to be really true, because I mean it's a vague term. It's a vague term. I don't do things which is unethical and unjustified. We do things where patients say and feel that yes, there is an improvement, and you know. So preventive is nothing is preventive. Even if you take vaccines, I've seen kids. They took pneumococcal vaccine and they still had pneumonia when they were after age 5. You know, so he had a preventive pneumococcal vaccine as well. So nothing is preventive now.
I had seen my father suffering with the same disease. You very rightly say the family also suffers a lot. But you said that with these kind of medications, the quality improves. Even to some extent, even chemo improves the quality. Like when he went through, everybody would speak of their own experience, so I would, speak of mine. So when he went through the first cycle, I thought, oh, some wonder has happened. He's, cured. He started eating. There was no hair loss. But when it strikes back and you see the deterioration and
what happened after the 6th chemo?
I mean, he was pretty well, but when the second cycle started, then he couldn't take it.
I was talking about 6th. Okay. So this happens. Why? Because when you are giving chemotherapy, so chemotherapy is what? Chemotherapy is killing the cancer cells and killing the normal cells as well. So it is exactly like, probably DCP sir would be able to agree with me more, that I'll give you an example. In a temple, there are probably in some building, there is 500 civilians which are there, okay? And 2 terrorists enter in that building, okay? Now, point number 1, there is no entry, no exit. There's just 1 entry and 1 exit only, and that has been locked, that has been sealed. That 2 terrorists are there, 500 civilians are there, and they're all been hijacked. Okay? Now, the only option police has or the army has is mass destruction. Save the building, but try to kill those terrorists. But while killing those 2 terrorists, 100 civilians can die. 100 civilians can lose their life. That is chemotherapy. Second option, try to give arms and ammunition to those 500 civilians that they are able to take care of those 2 terrorists. That is immunotherapy. So you are doing minimum damage. Minimum damage here? No. There has been no side effects. When you give the first cycle of chemotherapy, that patient is able to take it well because you are killing the cancer cells. But along with it, you never realize that you are killing the normal cells as well. After you give second or third chemo, the normal cells that were killed, they were not able to recover back, right? So, because the body's immune system is depleting, patient's not eating on well. When doctors give chemotherapy, they say, make him eat well, make sure that she eats well. But what happens is, when the immune system is getting depleted, the patient himself or herself does not feel hungry. You are killing the normal cells. You need time to get those normal cells get healed and come back to normal, right? So, you're doing nothing to boost his immune system. You're doing nothing to recover those cells. Recovery is something, you're doing gymming, but you're not resting. How would you feel? Recovery is the key. If you do 1 hour of gymming, you need 3 hours of recovery. Right? So this is something, recovery is the key. If you're not sleeping and if you're just working, one day you will just collapse. You will feel that you have nothing to do. Recovery is the key. And in chemotherapy, recovery doesn't happen. Where we have been strong.
Good evening, all of you. Mr. Tara, I have been hearing you and I have certain observations with questions on it. One question is that stress causes cancer, you said. Now, I have a very dear friend of mine, very, very happy-go-lucky type of my age. No stress, nothing. But he has been suffering from cancer for the last 10 years. I don't know what reason. You can say that immunity level was low and therefore he got it. But right from day one, very, very happy person. I have never seen him under stress at any point of time. I would like to know the answer for it. That's one. Number two, kids, you said. Kids, children. There are kids who are suffering from blood cancer. There is no stress in the child, very playful, and he or she gets this blood cancer. How it happens? Just a reflection of yours.
Yes. So I'll answer, that's a very good question. So I'll answer it point wise. So when a patient who was happy-go-lucky and was diagnosed with cancer, you probably don't know that how his genes would have been. Was there any family history of cancer? Point number one. Point number two, there is no stress for sure. But the thing I said, if you are not eating well, if your air that we are breathing is not nice, if there has been a family history of cancer, if there has been a predisposition of cancer where patients have been, probably a family history, or probably the air that we are breathing, or probably the food that we are eating, because nothing is pure nowadays. Nothing is pure nowadays. So there has been a genetic predisposition where a family history. I'll answer to that point, question number 2 together with this one. The youngest patient in our center who came to us was just 10 days old. So a young baby who was just 10 days old, infant, came to us with blood cancer. He had no stress. And the eldest one who came to our center, both have been cured. Eldest one who came to us was 89 years old. The younger one was Shubham, the elder one was Manju Barua. And touchwood, both have been cured. Why I am giving this example is, in both the cases, that lady who was diagnosed at 89 years of age was not having any stress at that time. Same goes with the child which is there who was just 10 days old, suffering from blood cancer. Now what happens in kids is, the genetic history of the parents matters the most, first. Second, when the mother is carrying the baby in a womb, how the conditions have been, how the disposing factors has been, what all exposure has been there to her immune system would matter the most. For kids, it is 200% for the mother, how she has been taking the meals, how she has been exposed to the environment that has been there through and through, and to the things which are there. Because in that stress doesn't matter. Stress alone would never cause cancer, sir. The only thing stress would add on to that cancer, predisposing factor. What would add on to it would be lifestyle. What would add on to would be the air that we are breathing, the food that we are eating, which would add on to it again. With an example. So this is this lady who was from Palampur. Palampur is a small village near Shimla in Himachal Pradesh. and she was suffering from esophageal cancers, a food pipe cancer. And she said she was a in India we have different castes, so she was a Jain. And what happens in this particular caste of people is they eat food before the sun sets. They eat food before the sun sets. So she said, Doctor, I am a lady who's staying in Himachal Pradesh, where the air is so pure, in between the mountains. I've been eating food before the sun is setting. I have not done any gutka. I have not done any pan masala. I've eaten the purest of food from my own farm. So she had her own cultivation of farming, and she had never used pesticides in her own farming as well. In rural areas here in India, people have been having lands of farm, and they've been doing farming for themselves and for selling it as well. And still I got it. Why? And I just told her one thing. Probably you were unlucky. You were unlucky. Because at certain point of time, it is all God guided. We are not able to answer everything of all the reasons that have been prevalent. I always leave 1% of those patients on luck. And I feel sorry in saying that, but that's a hard-earned fact. That's a hard-earned fact. And when this lady told me this, I just said, I still feel sorry why I said it, but that's a fact that, probably you are unlucky. It's very wrong to say somebody on her face that, she was unlucky. But that's the hard-earned fact is. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, my name is Jason. I want to say good evening to everybody. Alright, what I wanted to ask is this. You mentioned about we have different kind of, cancer in different part of the body. Maybe lungs, maybe bone, breast, and brain, and the rest of it like that. So, in this very regard, and they have a stage, they have levels. So, but are they going through all this people suffering for this particular kind of cancer? Are they taking the same kind of treatment or different treatment? And secondly is this, when they have such cancer at some point, they said, okay, maybe they need to, if it is a bone cancer, maybe it's on the leg or whatever, or any part of the body, they need to amputate in order not to spread to the other part of the body, right? In some other cases that we've experienced and all that. But the kind of treatment that you need, no matter how the state, do they need to go through that kind of operation, or they can survive it and go through it without any amputations or going through any kind of surgery to survive it?
That's a lovely question, Jason. So, what happens is, if the human body is made up of different kind of cells. There are columnar cells, squamous cells, different kinds of cells all across the body. So cancers are cell specific. In brain alone, there are almost more than 80 kinds of cancers or tumors that can happen in the brain. Astrocytoma, glioblastoma, meningioma, retinoblastoma, neuroblastoma, all these kinds of tumors just there in the brain. Okay. Now, there is no magical concoction that works for all. There is no magic remedy that happens. Our medicines are cell specific. When I said the medicines act at the cellular level to boost the immune system, so it has to be cell specific, where the bodies have to act at that particular cells to raise the immune system of that particular human immune system. But at that local level, they have to start regressing upon that tumors also. So all the medicines that we give are cell specific. So if there are two types of lung cancers, if it is a non-small cell lung carcinoma and small cell carcinoma, so medicines for NSCLC would be different from a small cell carcinoma. If there are different breast cancers, if it is an infiltrating duct carcinoma or a lobular carcinoma, or probably ductal carcinoma. So the medicines would remain different. So breast cancers again, if there is a different type, the medicine type would change. The medicine pattern would change. So line of treatment would change.
And I want to talk about the affordability. You understand what I mean by affordability in terms of, we have different people, maybe financially wise, they are not, and they have this disease, and they, the kind of treatment you give, would they be able to be a to benefit from it, not to be like, because most people nowadays, they seek of such diseases, but they think of the fact that the expensive part of it, to be able to go through this process, they live with it and they die with it. But to be able to, I know the reason why I'm asking, because we have other people, they think about it, and if they can be able to go through this process, because of it's affordable.
It's very much affordable, and it is a treatment which is much cheaper than the prevalent modes of chemotherapy and radiation. So any patient who has been having chemotherapy and radiation would actually come to know that our treatment is much cheaper as compared to the other modalities which have been there. Also, you gave an example that if a patient does not have money, they live with it and they die with it. Through you, Parul, I would like to convey and tell everyone that, if you find a poor patient in your country who is unable to afford, who is below poverty line, unable to afford, and would be able to treat himself for cancer, just write a letter, certify that that patient is unable to afford the treatment and is below poverty line and is not able to do it. Our center would treat that patient absolutely free of cost. Absolutely free of cost. Certify that that patient is known to you and that patient is unable to afford because he is very poor, and we'll make sure that he won't die of cancer because of non-availability of treatment. It's not a godly act. You have to work so much that cancer just becomes a zodiac sign.
Thank you so much, Doctor. My name is Anne from Uganda. Apart from that, my question is about accessibility. Accessibility. Because the first video that we saw, I think you displayed some of the cities where you're situated, and personally, I don't think I saw my country represented. So, because we have so many patients, cancer patients, we're back home.
Uganda.
In Uganda. So I'm like, in case there are those who can really need the service, how easily can they access it?
So our treatment is global. So we have 10 centers in India and 1 in Dubai. Those patients who have been staying, just to summarize, I'm not posting of it, but in our 21 years of practice, so we were just consolidating the data. So we have treated patients from almost 146 countries all across the world. So those patients who are unable to come, it is not necessary for them to come down here. Everything is online. We do a Skype consultation. Skype is available everywhere. We book an appointment, get a Skype consultation done. That's absolutely complimentary, so you need not pay for that. And get a Skype consultation done, get connected, they go online to the web portal, make a payment, get the medicines delivered in their doorstep. So we have a tie-up with FedEx and DHL, and it reaches through, so it's easy. So whenever you need to publicize, just log into a website and they can access the treatment online. our medicines work. This is how immunity is all about. So it is like shielding your body completely, where any of the harsh effects of chemo doesn't come to you.
Thank you. First of all, what I would like to say is that I would like to thank Parul ji and also Gaurav ji. So they're always there to get the best out of what is available in the society and bring it up to the people. I think a big round of applause is much appreciated for Gaurav ji and also for Parul ji. Parul ji is not even listening to me, so
It's for you for coming.
so that's one thing. The second, too late. Too late. Yeah. So the second thing I would also like to say is that. What you have shown us today is something that has really enriched at least my knowledge. I was not even aware that there's something like could be alternative to what is available today, I would say medically available. That is about radiation or chemotherapy. But today we've seen that even without those, people with cancer patients can be treated. So that's, I think, a very excellent initiative that you have started. And again, I think kudos to you and also to your better half at the same time to the team, and you're doing a great job. And I think you have mentioned that you're going to be the next patient, right? So hopefully after 6 months we'll see the results.
Session happens again.
So which brings me to my question is that normally when we speak about, I mean you've mentioned it, that irritation, pollution, food, lifestyle, whatever is there, this is being answered today in the society. So, like when we say, there's another thing that, I don't know, you can confirm it for us, like it is also acidity level in the stomach that can also bring cancer. I don't know how far that is true, so you can mention that. I mean, you can confirm this is one thing. So, and when we speak about acidity level, then they say that you have to make it alkaline, right? So, like normally what happens is that in the morning you hear that people they take lukewarm water with lemon lime juice and then drink it. But that is a good thing to prevent people from having cancer, or how does it work? This is one thing. And the second part is like the treatment that you're providing today. Normally you have people who also have medical insurance, right? So there is this type of treatment. Is it covered under medical insurance, or is it something that we have to fight against?
It's covered under medical insurance. It's covered under medical insurance. Those who have very good questions, sir. So it is covered under medical insurance. In fact, those patients who are in India, those patients who are not able to afford the treatment, they have even applied to Prime Minister Relief Fund, and they have taken, they have got the grants from their Prime Minister Relief Fund, and they have come up to us, and even their grants have been given on our letters. So it's very much covered under insurance also, and we provide all the bills and all the necessary formalities for whatever that is being required for it. Answer to your first question, alkaline water is, yes, very important. It is very important to have a healthy lifestyle. So my wife, Deepica, she's been, she probably you wouldn't be able to talk about nutrition or nutrients or.
So it's just that the body should be alkaline. The body should be alkaline all the time, because the alkaline body doesn't catch any disease very soon, because it builds up your immunity level. So it's very necessary to have the food, a lot of greens, a lot of natural local food, and to avoid certain food which are high in caffeine, and there are like list of lot of other food which you shouldn't be having, and there are some timings also, that this is the time you should be having this is the time. Like for an example, after 5 p.m. one should not be having citrus fruits. So there are a lot of things like that. We have a section which takes care of the nutrition, and we have a lot of people who are not facing cancer but taking the regular diet just to maintain their lifestyle and health. I hope you got the answer.